Call to order the council meeting for the town of Danville. Today, date is 24th of March, 2020, and it's 7 o'clock. In accordance with Governor Holcomb's Executive Order 2004, issued March 17, 2020, council members had to participate in today's meeting through the use of an electronic device. It means that any member who chooses to participate electronically must use an electronic device that permits simultaneous dialogue with the other members who are also participating in the meeting. Please note, this board will continue to hold our meetings electronically until further notice. Before we move to the agenda, let me take a roll call. Councilman Levitt.
Here. Aye.
Councilman Carroll.
Here.
Councilman Winters.
Present.
Councilman Van Leer.
Present.
They too are
Okay,
present.
first item on the agenda. Sorry.
They're all present, sir.
Okay, thank you. First item of the agenda is item A. Get that? You want to read that, Mark? I've got to get it on another paper.
I am going to defer to our legal counsel at this time. Just as I guess a history, Mrs. Piercy and I had a conference call with our counsel this morning in regard to the governor's directive, emergency order, on how do we manage to move forward in light of the order given. We feel that it's in the best interest of our citizens and our employees that we start applying leaves to our employees. All the department heads were gathered at 1 p.m. on a conference call so that they could decide who was essential personnel and how they needed to run their departments, because we don't want to eliminate necessary services to our citizens, water, wastewater, items like that. So the department heads all decided which way they were going to best manage their employees and manage this situation. So we felt it was in the best interest to call an emergency meeting so that the council could hear from our legal counsel on why we believe this is in our best interest.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark. So the governor issued 4 executive orders yesterday. 2 of them apply directly to municipalities. So Executive Order 20-08 is what's being referred to as the stay-at-home directive. Within that stay-at-home directive, certain things were mandated. One of them is that non-essential business and operations must cease. But within there, you could have essential government functionings continuing. With the essential governing functionings, it's all services provided by the state or municipality, township, county, political subdivision, ensure the continuing operation of government agencies, or to provide to support health, safety, and welfare to the public, including contractors performing essential government functions. The government body shall determine its essential government functions and identify those employees necessary to perform those functions. So outside of that, the determination needed to be made as to who would suffice as the essential functioning for the operations of the town. Along with this executive order number 8, the governor made clear that that parks, like state parks, will remain open for people to exercise but not to congregate, and all playgrounds in the state should be closed. They specifically indicated that playgrounds are a breeding ground for the transmission of the disease, and therefore the playgrounds should be closed. With that said, we had the discussion as to which individuals would be essential. And again, that is a determination by each municipality. So I think Mark and Jenny had that meeting with the department heads to go over how that would run and who would need to come in. As part of this, I think we discussed, I've had too many of these meetings. I can't remember what I've discussed in each meeting. The State Board of Accounts has passed guidance indicating an extended leave. So with the extended leave, paid leave policy that the State Board of Accounts has indicated is that in the case of a shutdown, which the governor's executive order 2008 is considered that a municipality can adopt a policy to offer extended leave. Excuse me. Extended leave to its employees who do not perform essential functions, and then cannot perform their work at home. So we have some of those employees here at the town of Danville, and they will, operate pursuant to how the department heads have deemed them to be. With that, and again, sorry, Mark, I need to remember we had our meeting on Wednesday. Did we pass the extended leave policy?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't remember what you're asking.
Okay, I don't think. I don't think we did. I think we just closed town hall.
That's
correct.
That's
and
correct.
Town buildings.
That's correct.
Right.
What this council would have to do is consider. You don't have to go through the formality of creating a new. Because this is a temporary thing, so as long as it's reflected in the minutes, the Board of Council accept that. Acted upon and will not take exception. What that means is that there will not be an issue of ghost employment for employees who cannot perform their duties at home but who have to remain home because they're not essential employees. In the discussions with Mark and the clerk treasurer, we discussed how it's enforced once we do this. What we would recommend is that the town, in adopting a policy, if they so choose to grant the extended paid leave, create a situation in which it's mandated that those employees who are sent home as non-essential understand that they are essentially on call during their working hours, so that if an emergency arises and they need to be called in, they have to be available for that. If they are not available for that, then possible discipline could come from that, including the revoking of the leave for that individual moving forward, and possibly up to termination and things of that nature. So the first action that I would need the council to consider is, if you so choose to, offer the extended leave with pay for those employees who are not deemed essential and who cannot perform duties at home.
All right. Are there any comments from the council members? Councilman Levitt.
Well, now, are we talking about guys on the water department, and do they work a certain number of hours per week?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Councilman Gerald.
Agree with it. We adopted this at my work. Obviously, we have some essential employees, but I think that this is what we have to do.
Councilman Winters.
Yeah, I agree that we should do this as well.
Councilman Bedlia.
So, Mark, I guess my first question is, how are our employees? Are we happy and healthy right now?
I believe we are. I've not heard of any employees who are reporting any symptoms or anything like that. nor have any of them reported any family members that have been sick.
And fire and police?
Fire and police will stay status quo. Those are emergency services. You will not see any disruption. And the fact of the matter is, the way we're doing this, you're not going to see any disruption in anything we're doing. Water, wastewater, stormwater have all devised plans to make sure that we're still providing service. We're still going to be providing building permits because the governor obviously wants us to continue with building the economy with construction. We're just doing it in a different way than we did a week ago.
So have police and fire seen an increase in runs or anything?
I can answer that. I met with Rob this afternoon, and they had a very, very busy weekend, but they have precautions in place for all patients and every call that they go on.
I guess to finish my thought is, I think that the well-being of our employees is at the utmost importance. So I would agree with the leave.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we looking for item A?
Yes, I believe that at this.
I think it would be it would be appropriate to have a motion to adopt a policy during the duration of the governor's executive orders as they apply to the COVID-19 outbreak, that an extended leave will be offered to those employees who cannot, who are not deemed essential and cannot perform work from home.
All right. Whichever councilman makes the motion, please identify yourself. I'm looking for a motion.
Okay. I'm the only woman, so you got to know who I am. But it's Nancy Levitt, and I move that we adopt the extended leave. Is it a proposal for employees, 10 employees who are not deemed essential?
In item A. Okay. Do I have a second?
I will second
Please
that.
identify yourself.
I will second that. David Winters.
Who is that?
David Winters.
Winters.
Okay. Okay, I have a second. And all in favor, take a roll call, please. Jenny.
Nancy Levitt,
Aye.
Tom Pato,
Aye.
Chris Gerald,
Aye.
David Winters,
Aye.
Greg Van Leer.
Aye.
Okay, the motion is approved. We move on to B now.
Item B.
Okay, and the next.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Joel.
Okay, so the next thing is the State Board of Accounts has passed or given guidance as to the approval of claims. And they've indicated that during the duration of the executive orders, if a municipal entity would designate a single council member to be the individual to review the claims and approve them, that the claims can be processed based off of that single review. And then once the executive orders cease and we can have our first regular meeting at that time, all those claims that had been processed and reviewed previously would be adopted by the entirety of the council or by a majority of the council. And so what we would need at this point is one individual to be identified as that person to review the claims and approve them for the purposes of payment during the COVID-19 executive orders duration.
I volunteer David Winters.
Well, that's interesting.
Okay.
And Mr. Winters, how do you feel about that?
I feel fine about that.
I second the nomination.
Hey,
Thank you, Nancy.
We have nominated, do we need to nominate Mr. Winters now?
I believe a nomination was made.
Where do we go from here?
A nomination was made by Nancy and seconded by Greg Van Leer.
Okay, let's have a roll call. All in favor?
Nancy Levitt,
Aye.
Chris Gerald,
Aye.
Tom Pato,
Aye.
David Winters,
Aye.
Greg Van Leer.
Aye.
And I just want to, oh, sorry, I'm sorry. That's my fault.
Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead. The motion approved.
Mrs. Pierce, you had a question or a comment?
I just wanted to tell you.
Okay.
I just wanted to let you all know it may be Monday evening before the claim docket because of staffing issues before I get it sent over to all of you. So just kind of a heads up.
Okay.
Please bear with us as we work through being short-staffed and trying to get everything done the best we can. So
Okay.
I'll get it to you as quick as I can. Hopefully it'll be earlier than that, but
Sounds good.
So Jenny, we'll get it electrically, and then then Dave can come up to the front door and he can sign the paper.
yeah, so it'll be the same process. I'll email you the reports like we do every claim and payroll docket. That won't change at all. I'll just get with David because I'm assuming, Jewel, that he won't approve it till Wednesday. Is that correct, or does that matter?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
She wanted
You
to,
assume that he what?
she wanted to know that is it a safe assumption that the approval will be normal, like on Wednesday when we are scheduled for a normal meeting?
It can be done. That is not what this is contemplating. This is contemplating that whenever this Councilman Winters has the opportunity to review and approve claims, he can do so. It does not have to be at the regular meeting. He can simply approve the claims, and then they can be processed. Once we get to the point of the regular meetings are starting again, then that will occur at the regular meeting.
Would we be able
But
to?
it's however you guys want to work that out.
I mean, would we be able
So
to?
Jenny could conceivably scan the claims and send them to him on email?
I'll just
I think she'll send it to all of us.
Now he will have to have his signature.
physically. I'm not concerned about that. I will meet up.
We'll work something out
Something
to meet
else.
and have him
He's agreed
sign
to
it.
come in. And Mr. Van Leer has a statement or a question.
I do. I would appreciate at least 24 hours from us receiving those reports from Jenny before that would be signed.
That's fair.
Mr. Van Leer's requested there be a 24-hour window from the time that it's sent out by the clerk treasurer to the time that Mr. Winters signs. The only other thing I have before you move on, Mr. President, we will have, we in my office, we have cut the agenda down to absolutely nothing. We're trying to make sure that, again, you guys don't have to come in, that we don't have to do these types of meetings. Right now, we have nothing on next week's agenda with the exception of we do have to do an approval of minutes. Is that right, Jenny?
Correct.
That may be the only thing we may convene so you guys can approve the minutes and we may be done at that point. So we're doing our best to try and keep things down so that everybody can try and get back onto a normal life at some point.
So, Jewel, how will that?
Okay,
If I could interject one more thing.
Yeah.
Just because I'm working through all the communities that I've been dealing with. One other thing that the town can play pursuant to the State Board of Accounts guidelines, I guess it's two things. One is that if an employee or anybody in that employee's household is diagnosed with COVID-19, that they can be extended sick leave that does not count against the accrued sick leave or personal time that employee has banked. And then the other thing is, if the council wants to, again, it's through just minutes again, the late fees on any utilities or billings for the town can be waived during the time of the executive orders. So from moving forward, any fees that are late for your sewer or your water or your storm water, depending on how that's run, whatever services that they are, if the council can waive those in their minutes, such as we did today, and then to allow for the exigent circumstances that we have with the COVID-19 issue.
So, sure, we don't have to adopt the motion or anything. That's already in process, what you just said.
I would recommend, because in case the State Board of Accounts wants to go back and look, I think they'll probably assume that everybody has acted on something like this. But if that's something that the town wants to do, I would recommend making a motion to adopt those two policies.
All right, we can do that now.
And I'll add to that so you guys know, as of today, we had 150 people on the disconnect notice. Of course, we're not disconnecting, but there are several hundreds that have late fee penalties, and the next bills are assessed right around April the 6th. So I will have to have you guys make a decision about that tonight if you do want to waive late penalties. So when we run billing, which will be the end of next week, the first of the week of the 6th, on if you guys want the
So you're saying
late fee penalties waived.
make an adoption tonight?
Prefer that you do make an adoption tonight.
Yes, please.
Yes, I think so. Do have a motion to adopt the AIM agenda or see on people that get sick with the virus.
I have a question first. Would this just be, what's the duration of this? Is it specifically to follow the executive order? Do we just say yes for April and then we come back in April and make another decision for May?
Right, that's what I would like to do. Of course,
which one? Just make it
for April. Yeah.
Make it, okay.
So we'll just go, if it's okay with you guys, we'll just go month to month.
I think that makes sense.
And hope that this is over soon. And I can give an updated report in April of where we are. And
well, in the current executive order, I think tentatively expires on the 6th.
Correct.
Yes.
So, okay.
How many utility customers do we have?
Right around 3,300
So we already have 150 in disconnect status.
in disconnect status.
Is that
And
sorry.
hold on, and when was the last billing cycle?
This is for the March billing cycle. So this is for the February usage bill that went out March the 4th.
So we already have individuals that were on a disconnect prior to the ramp up of some of these issues.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I know why you're asking. I think the problem though is, because I know where you're going, is this is really related to what's going on. Unfortunately,
I'm kind of wondering, yeah.
Unfortunately, their payment though is going to come in the next week or two. So,
Right. And,
I'm with you on that. But
per the governor's orders, we can't disconnect anyway.
yeah,
But it's just on if we're going to access late fees, like Jewel said.
right.
So we're looking for a motion to adopt this for 1 month, and we will renew it every month. Is that how I understand that?
That you'll review it every month. Yes, sir.
If need be. Hopefully, we're through this
Okay.
and won't need to.
Are we ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion that
One of the councilmen.
Mr. Winters has made the motion.
I'll make a motion that we waive the late fees for utilities for the April billing cycle.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Hello?
Chris Gerald. Chris Gerald.
Hey. I have a motion. Yes. Jenny, can you please take the roll call?
Nancy Levitt,
Aye.
Chris Gerald,
Aye.
Tom Pato,
Aye.
David Winters,
Aye.
Greg Van Leer.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, that is passed. So what do we do now? Close the meeting? Or is there anybody else that would like to make a comment?
I have one more question for Jewel. How will we do the council minute approvals? Do we just hold all those till our next public meeting?
Right, so I would just put the today's minutes on the agenda for the next meeting that we have. And if it's done electronically, we can take the vote for the approval on that during that meeting.
So next Wednesday?
So next Wednesday.
Okay. Because we'll have 3 sets of minutes, which I can email you, Jewel, with those dates. Because we'll have the last meeting, this meeting, and then the work study. That was done in March as well.
Okay.
I think that's all I have, sir.
Okay, do I have a motion to close the meeting?
Motion to close the meeting. Greg Van Leer.
Second, David Winters.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, the meeting is closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you.